What's up guys, the Strong Boys 19 here. This is the next review for the Rolling Stones discography. And yes, I didn't wear a Stones shirt from the last video for It's Only Rock and Roll. And once again, I'm wearing a Black Sabbath t-shirt instead of a Rolling Stones shirt. But this album that I'm going to be reviewing does not deserve a Stones shirt, because I'm going to be reviewing what I consider to be the first almost nadir album in their discography, entitled Black and Blue. Black and Blue, released in 1976, is the follow-up to It's Only Rock and Roll. So they've got Ronnie Wood after Mick Taylor's departure from the band, and this is where the Rolling Stones, in my eyes, turned from being a different sounding band into instrumentation that got weaker and weaker in terms of songwriting and sound. And other musicians have been involved during this process, including Harvey Mandel from Canned Heat and Wayne Perkins. And also Billy Preston appeared on a few of these tracks on this album, which I will get to in a minute, produced by Jagger and Richards once again. Not the worst Stones album, but I gotta say that this is where, in my opinion, it became even more juvenile and really weak. There was some material on It's Only Rock and Roll that was beyond description, but this one, it's just a mishmash of songs that are, messily placed together. It's just like a very bland executed album from start to finish. Only 8 songs, and it's 40 plus minutes hot stuff, which is, in my opinion, a very, very loose, tried way too hard to be funky, repetitive sounding track. But the guitar solo from Harvey Mandel was really good. But the song, for me, just does not do anything to me. It just doesn't have a lot of grit and power. It feels, as I said, loose. And around this time, the Stones were into reggae a lot of the time. And I do love some reggae. But for me, the Stones did not do reggae very well, even though Hot Stuff is a funky sounding track. But speaking of reggae, we get to a track called Cheerio Baby, which is, in my opinion, one of the worst Stones covers ever. A very cheesy, appalling, yet laughably bad cover. The chorus is laughable, but the vocals were unfitting, and the sound is just really monotonous to cope with. It deserves to be ignorable, in my opinion. Hey Negrita. It begins with a bland guitar riff, and again, like Hot Stuff, it just doesn't have a lot of punch, and the structure is nothing special. It goes on too long, boring song at that. But then we get to some tracks like Hand of Fate, which is, in my opinion, a much better sounding track. Rockier sounding, that is stronger and better musically, with some raw vocal performances from Jagger himself. And Wayne Perkins does the lead guitar solo on this one, and I think Hand of Fate is arguably, for me, the best sounding track on this album. And same with another track that I do like that is really passable, but nothing strong, Memory Motel. Memory Motel is another very soft pace sounding song, with Billy Preston becoming more prominent in this album. Got some gentle vibe to it, clean tone with the guitars and the backing vocals. It went on a bit long, but its pacing is not bad. Not a strong song, like I said, but it is a good song at that. Melody is where Billy Preston joins in with Mick Jagger on the vocals, and it's got a shuffle type of beat, but again, it is like really repetitive, but with some okay, decent playing. It's not like really bad. It's not really worth the time to, come back to. It's okay, but it's not that, like, amazing. Falta Cry is another one of the singles, and somehow it reminds me of Let It Loose from Exile on Main Street, but this is another one of these songs where the Stones go into a different sound, and it's a ballad, but it's a pretty good song. It does have some soul. It's got some soft rock instrumentation, but Falta Cry, it is another good song that I did enjoy. And the last track, Crazy Mama, is for me the most distorted sounding, bluesy filled, good track to finish off this album. It was, in my eyes, better than Fingerprint File, which was from It's Only Rock and Roll. But overall, this album as a whole it is a very weak attempt of trying something new, and its execution is very poor in a lot of levels, with the tracks that I've mentioned positively that try to save it. But at the end of the day, in my opinion, this is an uninspired, directionless, performed, filled album. So in terms of a rating, I would give Black and Blue by the Rolling Stones, I have to say it, a 4 out of 10. Not a very, very strong one at that. And believe me, Jagger said this, that it stinks. Don't quote me on that. He actually hated the album himself. So there you go. You may like Black and Blue, or you may not like Black and Blue. Let me know what you think of the album in the comments below. But I don't think it'll ever be one of the albums that I would recommend to a beginner of a Rolling Stones fan whatsoever. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll keep you guys posted for more videos in the near future.